There's no question that there's a lot going on with this window. The left side is where you get tested on recognizing progressions, while the right side is where you create them. The box at the top is 8 bars long. You can put one chord in each white bar. The blue bar is where it will display what that chord would be relative to the creation key. To input chords, click on one of the white boxes and choose a Roman numeral from the left list. A default chord will appear in the box, along with the root. If you choose 1, it will be accompanied by a major 7. If you're in the key of C, the blue box under will show C major 7. Now we may not want this one chord to be a major 7, so we can change the chord type by selecting a chord from the second list. If the chord we want is not in the second list, we can right-click in the second list to choose any other chord available in Guitar Sight Reader Toolbox. As we add chords, we notice in the text box below a name has been forming. We can change this if we have a better name. We can audition this chord progression by pressing the play button. We have the option of having it repeat, so we can maybe spend some time jamming over the progression. You can stop the progression by pressing on the little stop button here. We may have a little information about this progression, so you can enter that in. That will appear when testing in the information box here. For saving the progression, you need to make a progression group for it to be saved into. This is kind of like a folder where you keep a bunch of progressions to be tested on. To add to this list, just type a name in the box above the list and press the plus box. To delete it, just select and press the minus sign. To save your progression into it, select the progression group and press the Save button. To load a progression into the creation player, select and press the up arrow. Another thing to note about the creation side, with these two options, you can see the chord in long form, as it is here, or in jazz shorthand, which is officially called jazz nomenclature. Lots of the early real books in jazz use the jazz shorthand, and this is a way of getting a little more familiar with it. Over to the testing side. This has a lot of self-explanatory stuff. We have the root note option box with a few added features for turning on and off the keyboard or bass player. To load a progression group, just select in the list and press the big load arrow. This will load all the progressions in the list, and with the tick boxes next to them, you can alter to choose which progressions you will get tested on. When you test yourself, it's business as usual. You click on the progression you think it is. If you get it wrong, it will display the correct progression in red, and your success percentage will change. If you get it right, it will display the progression in green. To reset the success percentage back to 100%, just click on it. If the repeat control is switched on over in the creation side, the tested progression will repeat. The real power comes from the 4 buttons under the tempo control. The first button toggles between 4/4 and 3/4. The second toggles between the bass playing the root note of the chord and playing other notes in the chord rather than just the root. For example, the 3 or the 7 or the 5. The third toggles between chords playing without a root note or with a root note. Chords without a root note and with the bass playing will sound a little bit hipper and more sparse and not so busy. The last box chooses between one standard drop 3 voicing and a random selection of 4 different voicings. This can really make a simple progression a little more hard to identify. These options also affect the way the progression player plays. Why this tool? If you can identify a progression, it will give you an idea of what you could play over it. Also, having a list of progressions that you know helps with writing good songs. Overall, it's all about developing your musical ear abilities.